News Channel 5 on your side starts now.
Bizarre handwritten notes and gun lessons. New clues from a deadly rampage.
Copley Township police are getting a fresh picture of the gunman who took the lives of 7 people. Bob Jones has an in-depth report from our Akron bureau. And Bob, tell us more.
Well, Lee, we talked exclusively with Copley Township Police to get the latest on this case that truly shocked the community. And police now believe that Michael Hance was thinking about shooting people for about 2 weeks before he actually did it on August 7th. And what he did in the days leading up to the rampage is chilling. We have learned that 2 or 3 days before the Copley rampage, Michael Hance walked into the Marksman, a firing range in Barberton, with a gun he had recently purchased. But Hance wasn't sure how to fire the .45 caliber weapon.
He really didn't know how to use the weapon. He went to a firing range to practice, but really didn't know how to use it. He had to be instructed on how to use that weapon.
Investigators say it was one of 2 guns Hance would use to kill 7 people in Copley Township. Based on witness interviews and 911 calls, police now have a new timeline of the tragedy. They say Craig Dieter was murdered first, followed by Russell Johnson and his wife Gudrun. Next, Autumn Johnson and her friend Amelia Shambaugh. Hance then chased and gunned down Brian Johnson. After that, he shot his girlfriend, Rebecca Dieter, once or twice in the back. She's the only survivor. Finally, Hance killed 11-year-old Scott Dieter, who was hiding in a neighbor's basement.
Obviously, he was on a mission to destroy those 2 families.
Police are still trying to figure out a motive. They recently searched Rebecca Dieter's home and found several rambling notes written by Hance.
There were no notes that saying, this is what I'm going to do. That just wasn't there.
But Lieutenant Marchman says in some notes, Hance seemed obsessed with cancer.
In his own way, he was trying to research and define methods to help cure cancer.
Police believe Hance had a delusional disorder but was never treated. Relatives had suggested he get help for depression, but Hance refused, insisting he could rely on herbal remedies.
Trying to get into his mind is just very, very difficult.
Police say Hance had a couple of minor disagreements dating back at least a year with the Johnson family. Once the family asked Hance to stop using a rototiller at midnight, and another time Hance became angry because a child in the Johnson family was shooting a BB gun, neither of which explains why Hance would kill people.
Who does that because they have a dispute with a neighbor or they're upset with a neighbor?
The key to getting answers may rest with Rebecca Dieter. She remains in an Akron hospital, and police still have not been able to talk to her. Lieutenant Marchman says it may be impossible to ever make sense out of something so senseless.
We may never know why he did this.
And Michael Hance was eventually shot and killed by Copley Township police officer Ben Campbell. He remains on leave, which is standard in a case like this. And the Summit County Sheriff's Department continues to investigate his use of deadly force, but Chief Mike Meyer says his use of force probably saved other lives that day.
Most likely. Bob, I guess even police are surprised that Hance was so completely under the radar.
Really under the radar is what Lieutenant Marchman said. He said there was no criminal record, no complaints from the neighborhood that he was truly dangerous. And really, when they looked at these notes that they seized from the house, from Rebecca Dieter's house, they looked over them very carefully. They were bizarre, very strange, but nothing that spelled out a motive.
And certainly just can never make sense out of it. Bob, thanks very much.